Hello, Perrin.
Hello, everyone.
Have I pronounced your name correctly?
Yes, yes, you have.
Okay. So you are our student co-host for the next, are you in for an hour?
For the next hour.
Okay.
Hi,
And so
Perrin.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what grade you're in, maybe why you're here.
So, hello, bonjour, kamusta, privet. My name is Perrin Laxa, and I'm a homeschooler based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I write on a blog called His Purpose in Pages.weebly.com, where I keep my high school portfolio. I'm also actively involved in my high school community as an organizer, student leader, and event host. Over the years, I've also been involved in a few fundraising or awareness initiatives for victims of calamities in the Philippines. One recent involvement is the Divergence, which is an organization that aims to dive deeper into people who are making creative solutions. Some of the things I enjoy on the weekends include reading books, exploring world history, singing, playing the piano, and other things. I'm really excited to be here because I'm really happy to see so many people from around the world, all coming together, caring about the earth and its peoples.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I think that Arturo, Anand, and I can turn off our cameras and go have a cup of coffee since you do so much. I think you could just run the show from this point. I've actually seen some of the podcasts or interviews. I'm not sure. They might be a combination of both that the Divergence have done, and they're very interesting. So is the Divergence a group that primarily does those interviews and podcasts, or is it more than that?
Well, for now, it's a fairly new organization. So we're planning on we're going to do a couple of interviews first, but maybe in the future we might build like a community where we have events, workshops, collaborating with like the same people that we're interviewing, but in a more deep way that people can learn engaged.
Very good.
So, Perrin, to learn more about you, how many languages do you speak?
Well, I'm a Filipino. I was born in the Philippines and I grew up around Filipino speaking people. So I mainly speak English, but when the time comes, I can understand when people are speaking like conversational Filipino. So if you put me like on the street in the Philippines, I think I'll be able to buy a bag of Doritos or two.
Good. Good. So how long you been in Saudi Arabia?
I think 2022 is going to be my 10th year in Saudi Arabia.
You didn't pick up Arabic?
Not that much. No,
Shway?
my dad speaks a bit of Arabic, but the only Arabic that I know is shukran and kam, which means how much.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we have our presenter in. Somebody was in. Nitishri or somebody. I did see someone.
Yeah, our I was gonna say our midnight, but it's probably not midnight for either one of you. Our current presenter is not here yet, so I'll keep an eye out. So
we can talk to Perrin.
We can
Yes,
do
Perrin.
that. We can show
So
videos.
what grade are you in, Perrin?
I'm currently grade 8 and I'm 13 years old.
Okay.
Wow. I would not have guessed grade 8. I would have thought somewhere around 10 or 11 at this point. You're very well spoken, and you know, obviously engaged in a lot of things.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And what are the activities that you currently do in Saudi?
So, actually, one thing that me and my family is planning. So, you know how the Philippines was just recently hit by a typhoon.
Mm.
So, what we're planning to actually fundraise for that typhoon by making and selling T-shirts. So recently during Christmas, we actually got like a cutter for like vinyl that we use to make T-shirts to give to our friends, and to like make the most out of that, we're also planning to use that to make custom T-shirts for to sell here in Saudi Arabia to our friends and family so that we can raise money for the typhoon victims.
Good, good, very good, very good, very good. Okay. And what's or do you love innovation, or you are someone who likes to present innovation? What is it about?
Oh, I'm the kind of person who likes to, well, speak. I'm the kind of person who would like to, what I want to do in the future. I want to motivate people to innovate, to make the most out of their potential. Because I know many people in this world, all of the people in this world, we all have potential to innovate. All we need is that first step. And I want to be that person to help people take the first step.
So you want to light the fire. Good. That's good. So have you had any chance of laying your hands on innovating something or motivating someone to innovate something, and have they come out and done something which you can share with us? Maybe they are not part of the presentation, but yes, you did something and those kids really came up and said, hey, Perrin, look, this is what I did.
Well, not yet. Not yet, because I'm actually fairly new into like the kind of community that's interacting with people around the world. Because I've only been the high school community that I mentioned a while ago. I've only been there for like 2 years, and the divergence, as you know, we've only created that in November. So in the future, when I'm actually planning on maybe we could, like I said, we could do a workshop, and maybe I could speak about how easy it is to innovate. Because I remember there's this one guy, he said, for every solution, there are at least 3 or 4 small, for every problem, there's at least 3 or 4 small solutions that can help with solving the problem.
You should rather become a marketing man. You're too good with this.
Thank you so much. So, is it okay if I ask a bit of questions about you guys?
Sure. Go on, please. All yours.
Okay, so first of all, Anand, what is your job? Where do you work?
Okay. I'll give you a quick introduction of who I am and what I do. I live in India, and I have my company, which is own company, which is a startup, and we work in innovation management. That's the reason I said, if there is a possibility, I'll take you in my company. You keep motivating people, I get business, you get business, we both make money. Now,
Yeah,
what we do is
that sounds really nice. You take these creative inventions and then you're able to put them in the market. Because I could see why that's a problem.
That's one of them. What we do is we talk to people, and like the way you want to light the spark for people to invent, we go to people and tell them, give us your problems. And when they say they give us the problems, we sit on their problems and get all the sparked minds and ask them to start working on solutions. And we try to see not to get just ideas. We want people to work on solutions which can be implemented and which also creates an impact. And when these solutions comes to us, they are then taken to market, and we generate revenue out of it, and the inventor gets the revenue, and we get a share of the revenue, and that's what we do.
Well, that sounds amazing. How you make all these ideas like a process, and then
Yes.
you're even able to get these ideas to the market. Because I
Yes.
can see how it's a problem that there are many people who have ideas, who've made even prototypes of ideas, but can't get these things into the market because sure, they have a mind of an innovator, but maybe not the mind of a marketer or investor. So it's really cool how you guys can practically bridge the gap between the market and the innovator's mind.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
are able to get those solutions out into people. Because you can go, I go on YouTube sometimes and I see someone who made this amazing invention, but he can't put it out into public because he doesn't have enough money. Sure, he has the mind of an innovator, but not one of an investor. So he can't put it out to the market. But that's what you guys do, and then you're changing you're becoming part of a solution that's changing the world. And you get
Yes.
guys, it's so cool how you guys get to see firsthand all these solutions. I definitely might want to work for you guys when I grow old.
I give you an option right away. Go and find solutions in Saudi Arabia. There are a lot of inventors, kid inventors back in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You should actually start looking up at Qatar and Saudi Arabia, where you have a lot of kids who are doing many things of that. And we start working with the kids at a small level. And as soon, probably in the next few days, we are going to come up with a challenge, which is all about finding nutrition food for children for the 0 to 5 years. So you be my marketer in Saudi Arabia, go to every school and tell these kids to find solutions, and we will work on those solutions with them. Right?
I'd like to add that not only do innovators sometimes not know how to take their idea to market, there are organizations out there that they have to be careful of, because there are a lot of other companies that will say they can help them, they'll accept their money, and maybe they don't help them the way they should help them. So it's, they can try to do things on themselves, they can try to source this company by themselves, but it's tough out there. You got to find a company that's honest and good and has your best interest in mind and wants to make money right alongside you, not instead of you. So
Okay,
gotta
so
go to
I
someone
actually
like Anand's company.
So I actually have a question for Julie. What should I call you? Should I call you Miss
Juli
Shivy?
is fine.
Okay. So Julie, how long have you been in this gift organization?
Well, the GIFT organization is pretty new. GIFT itself is a program of Innovation World, and Innovation World's only been around since December of 2019. But before that, I've spent about the last 20 years in the student innovation space. I worked as a volunteer and then worked my way up through the Ohio Invention Convention, which is now it's a K-12, so kindergarten through 12th grade invention program that would go into schools, and they would teach kids how to create inventions, and then the kids would have competitions at the school level and their district level and then their state level. And that's what we did in Ohio. We put on those district, regional, and state level competitions. And then I moved on and worked for a while for a company called STEMI Coalition, which was had created a national invention convention for different states around the United States. So that's what I did for about 18 years. And then I broke off and created Innovation World, which is a resource for innovators, inventors, and educators that teach innovation. And from that came the Global Innovation Field Trip about 2 years ago in March. Jake Mendelson and I were talking about this idea to do a 24-hour celebration of young innovators because COVID was closing everything down. So now the kids didn't have anywhere to go show their inventions they had worked on all year at school. Everything was being canceled, and we wanted to make that happen. At first, we thought, very limited. We were thinking about the United States, but by the time we had filled up that very first event, which happened in May of 2020, there were 15 countries involved, which was really cool. We thought that was fantastic. And now we're up to, I think, 40, as of today, 49 countries have participated in GIFT. We've had somewhere around 872 presentations and 540 presenters all together. And it's just kind of snowballed into this really good, organically grown platform for youth. I mean, I'll be very happy the day that I'm not sitting here, I'm at the other side on YouTube watching, and it's the parents of the world that are hosting and running the whole thing. And it's all run by kids, by student innovators, and it's all featuring student innovators. And then we will have accomplished our task, I think.
Wow. With all the
That's not very
experience,
old.
I definitely want you to be my professor when I grow up.
But I'm not sure I have the qualifications to be a professor. However, thank you for that.
I mean, 20 years in the innovation, more than 20 years in the industry. I'm thinking to myself, I think that's pretty much enough qualifications already. Because I'm only 13, and you've been in the innovation industry 7 years longer than I've been alive. Can you imagine that?
Not feeling very young today. Thank you very much.
Man,
And
Perrin,
on top of that,
you don't look or speak like someone who's 13. You actually
Yes.
speak like someone.
and in fact, today is my 62nd birthday. I
Happy
made it that
birthday.
long.
party. Where's the party?
Everyone's asleep. It's 12:14 a.m. here, so the party is not happening. But
Maybe you could say that this gift event is the party, a party
it
of
is. I
innovation.
spent my 61st birthday on gift as well.
Good.
And people say,
Yes.
why are you doing it? Like, well, what else? I mean, at 60, in your 60s, you don't have parties anymore. You just kind of like hope that, the numbers are wrong. But yeah, I know people that have been in it far longer than I have. It's one of those things that once you start, I mean, what I used to do, I used to manage call centers. That's what I did. I was one of the people that managed the last call center I managed. I had like 250 people reporting under me. And if you don't know what a call center is, it's a big place that everyone's answering the phones, trying to help people do things. And when I left, not too long afterwards, I started volunteering for the Invention Convention. So I totally switched roles. And I will never go back to that type of work again because, this is so fulfilling to see the impact it has on students, not gift necessarily, but gift's just part of that. But helping to promote innovation for students it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. And I absolutely love it. If I'm feeling down or, just feel like I don't have energy to do something, I watch these students and it just brings everything back to life. And it gives me a lot of hope. I mean, there's so much negativity out there, political, news-wise, all over the place. And then you get out here and you think, as long as we keep helping these students and empowering them, we're going to be fine. So that's why we keep doing it. We want to be fine.
we all want to be fine. Not fine, but great. We all
Yes,
want to be great. So it's already 8:16. I just want to check in. Are any of the presenters here?
Nope, the presenter that we were waiting for was not here. I'm sorry, my eye keeps watering. I think I got something in it. And then I'm going to let you.
Yeah, go.
I'm going to go fix my eye and I'll be back in a minute.
Yep, me and Perrin will enjoy till then. So Perrin, let's talk of something that's currently the trend in Saudi Arabia, because I used to live in Kuwait and I used to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, not much of a difference between both the places. One is a small one is a big brother. So that's the only difference between both of them. But you live in Jeddah, right? Or in Riyadh?
Meaning that I'm a Jedi.
You are a Jedi.
I'm a Jedi. I have the Force.
You're the Force. Okay, fine. So I'm Luke. I'm Darth Vader. All right. Okay. So what's happening currently in Saudi Arabia? What's the new thing that's happening out there?
Well, something that I've been really excited about, I keep on getting these ads about this, is that Saudi Arabia is currently opening up its gates. I mean, it has been doing so, but it's really opening its gates up to tourists, to other countries, in the same way that Dubai is doing it, in the same way that the UAE is doing it. It's I remember before that they allowed women to drive. They gave more rights to women. They're really opening up. They're planning to build cities and become another hub of innovative technology. And that's what I really love about Saudi Arabia, because it keeps its citizens from becoming how do I say this? The government keeps its citizens from becoming chaotic. but
because
then
earlier
it's
the
still
ones who
able to manage to have new people coming in, and just being able to imagine seeing people from all races, black, white, brown like me, or blue or red colored people just walking and innovating in Saudi Arabia. But that's just amazing because for the past couple of years, I mean, in the early years when I was alive, women weren't allowed to
yeah.
drive, and
And do they still wear the hijab? Is that everybody
Saudi
still
Arabia
wears the
kind of
hijab?
was a bit um was a bit of a was a bit more secluded. It
Yes.
only is able it had highly favored Saudi people only, but now they're very innovative. And I think it's because of the new generation change. There are new people coming in and being like, hey, you know what, I think we should change for the better, not necessarily doing away with all our traditions and beliefs, but changing in a way that fits the entire world in as well, being inclusive. And
Right.
that's what I
And
really love.
do you have any Saudi kids as your friends?
I don't I don't think I do have any like pure Saudi friends right now, but but then I remember seeing on the street before there's these couple of kids playing. One was Saudi, and then the other was had like white skin, like Juli over here, white skin and red hair. So that's what made me happy because I see the people of different races acting as if they're and treating each other like they're one same species. Like we should. We should treat others like they're one same species. Not different races as if, for example, you, because you have darker skin, you're a different entire species. We are the same person, we have the same brains, and we have the same potential to do amazing things.
Yes, yes, yes. You're right. You're right. You're right. And people still having to wear compulsory the hijab, or no? It's open that people can go freely around.
Well, yet women still, I could still see women wearing hijabs to the point they cover their eyes, but it's
But the
also okay.
foreigners, the locals fine. But the foreigners, are they also required to wear it? Because earlier it used to be the rule.
When you're formal, I believe you do wear a hijab, but also if you can, if you there's a certain dress code where you can dress not in hijab, but as long as you're not wearing like something super skin tight, something a bit loose, you know what I mean? If you're, especially if you're a woman, something a bit loose, not skin tight. Because there was this time where my mom and my family, we went off family trip, and my mom didn't have to wear like a hijab, an abaya. Actually, I remember the hijab's the thing face. My mom usually wears abaya. My mom didn't have to wear that because of we were able to get nice normal looking pants and like a sweater, those kinds of things. So as long as I see why they had that rule in the first place, because they didn't want women walking around with kind of like exposed clothing, so that this place won't lead into other dark it lead people to be doing horrible things to women because of their clothing. So I could see the why, but it's also cool how they're still allowing women to have nice the clothing of their choice, but just giving like
It's changed.
like a gentle reminder, like just trying not to make sure you look like a beacon or something like that. You know what I mean?
Good. No, because I remember earlier days it was quite very, very strict, very strict. I think the new prince is the one who's bringing in a lot of changes. So he's been doing a lot of new things for the Saudis and even for the foreign nationals who are all living and being part of the Saudi system, the ecosystem that's there. Yes, Perrin, what we would also like you to take, what is it that you wish to take away from this gift program? What is it that you look forward from this gift and what you want to share back to the community that you are back in Saudi? What is it that you'd like to do?
Well, I want to be able to share that it that your current financial situation, your skin color, your or country of origin, anything. If you're blind, if you're deaf, if you can't walk, nothing should restrict you emotionally and mentally from being able to innovate. Because even people who are considered special, like people who have ADHD or autism, though I don't believe I want to be a special education teacher when I grew up. So I don't believe that those people are dumb or not smart. I just believe those people see the world in a whole different way than we do. Like how deaf people can't hear, blind people can't see. I don't think there should be any difference when you talk to an autistic person who says he has an imaginary friend. Having an imaginary friend could mean that is a possibility that the person's super smart. Because personally, people with ADHD, they just see the world different than we do. Nothing more than an opinion that someone has, a worldview that someone has. So it shouldn't be considered that they were born without the opportunity to innovate because of their situation. But instead, we should consider that they will be able to do that. We shouldn't. The more we point fingers at them and say that they can't do this, they can't do that, the more they won't be able to do this and do that. Because a lot of the reason why we can't do anything is in up here. So I believe that by encouraging people in the up here, you'll be able to get anyone to innovate.
So I have a question for you that's on a totally different topic, I think. If you're, even though I'm in the innovation space and have been for a long time, my real heart is an innovation that solves social issues or social deficits, maybe. When I look at the United States, I see some of those largest ones are homelessness and hunger. And I wonder what you see in your countries if you had a magic wand and could create programs to help some of the social issues. What would those top 2 or 3 issues be?
So yes, I would try to fix homelessness. I'd 100% always want to fix homelessness and hunger, but maybe a third one could be making programs that change the way people dispose of waste. Because what saddens me is sometimes I see a plastic bottle littered on the road, a juice box, or a bag of Doritos. So what saddens me is that people don't really care about disposing of those things properly. So maybe a third thing that I would like to do is create engaging programs that will make people innovate ways to use that plastic waste instead of just throwing it out into the trash can and expecting you'll never see it again. Because trust me, 50 years in the future, when there's a giant landslide of trash in your face, you will see that same water bottle again.
Yeah. Yes, you will. But how do you motivate people to do that? I think I was probably 40 years old when I did my first volunteer work. And, maybe volunteerism is more prevalent now. I'm not sure. And now I volunteer for a lot of different things. And my mom was a volunteer. So I had volunteer role model in my family. But how do you make it important to other people? Because there's a lot of people that wouldn't consider spending their time to do something like that.
Well, a lot of the problems I believe that are caused in social things is communication. One word, just communication. The proper wording of sentences, the tonality, the phrasing, your tone, a lot of it is very important in communication because you say something wrong, you don't pause long enough. For example, let's eat, grandma, or let's eat grandma. You see how important pausing just like 1 millisecond more is to avoid confusion, and then your brother starts getting the dinner plate. You know what I mean? That's why I think proper communication is key. That's always going to be my belief, that proper communication is key. Also, teaching people, encouraging people how to communicate in a way that encourages someone to get to do something about their lives instead of pointing fingers. Because if all we do is use our mouths to just point fingers at those who are homeless, saying just buy a house, which is 100% not helpful, maybe you can say something that will encourage them to think. Or maybe you can even just we could give them a job application, because the words we say can hurt more than our own hands.
I think
Sure, we can.
With homelessness, the words I hear a lot from people are, go get a job. Well, it's such a complicated issue. You can't just go out and get a job. It doesn't work that way. You need to present yourself in a certain way to get a job, and you can't always do that. You have to have an address sometimes to be able to get a job, and you don't have one. So it's more complicated than somebody just doesn't want to work and therefore they're homeless. So I get what you're saying.
And I see so much, like, it's a problem in society that I want to be fixed. That when you go into poverty, you're practically in a constant, very hard to get out of loop of being in poverty. Because to get a job, you have to look like the job is like worthy of you. If you think about it, you have to show up in a suit and tie. You have to show up with pants, leather shoes if you want to get the job. But it's something, like you said, that homeless people can access. So job and employers won't give jobs to people who kind of have like a rugged clothing. So that's a problem. People say they go get work, but they can't get work because of their situation, and they can't improve their situation because they don't have money, which they get from work. So I think it's maybe hopefully in the future we'll be able to find creative solution. Maybe through this gift, someone in the future might present a creative solution for homeless people to get out of homelessness. Because, like you said, you need the address, and to have an address, you're gonna need a house. And it's gonna be really hard to practically get all that money to rent a house just by doing things that are really, for example, busking, which is a term for like playing music on the street. It's hard to earn enough money to get a house on top of your other living expenses. And on top of that, you have your health, your hunger, your thirst, because you can't just be drinking 7-Up all day and eating Subway sandwiches.
Or Doritos.
You're gonna have or bags of Doritos. You're gonna have to actually think about your health, and especially in places possibly like the United States, healthcare is a bit expensive. Like someone got charged. I remember hearing before that someone had an ambulance, and then they put a bandage on the person and then charged them $5,000 for it. So that's really a problem, that healthcare not only is kind of getting expensive. Okay, healthcare is expensive. Earning money, like from begging and busking, is just purely out of people's generosity, which is starting to become rarer in your average normal day walker, person who walks on the sidewalk. On top of that, you need a house, you need good clothing, you need a clean face, you need to not smell like a trash can. There's so many requirements even to getting to that first step. And I believe that reaching out your hand to someone who's homeless, just letting a homeless person sleep in your house may seem like maybe I'll just have to clean up my house a bit later. For you, your life doesn't really change that much. So an encouragement I want to say is, if you see someone homeless on the street, most of the time it's not because they're addicted to alcohol or drugs or anything like that. It's because they got caught in a situation, and giving anything you have is really going to be very big for them, because taking that first step, getting a job, to be able to affording a house and getting good health care, and then be able to eat good food, that's going to be very hard. So anything you do will be able to be very helpful.
Yep. So that's really interesting. And I'm curious as to whether you have a particular social issue where you live that we didn't already talk about. So if there's one in India, I think he took his ears out because he's busy. I can't hear you. Oh, you're muted, Anand.
Sorry. I was trying to reach some of the presenters.
No, that's okay. I knew you were, but then I saw you looked up for a minute, so I thought you were back. I was just wondering if there was a social issue in India that we haven't covered already that's different than, hunger or homelessness.
Hunger and homelessness are very much part of this society too. You will find a lot of homeless people around. It's sad, and different parts of the country has got different sets of problems. Now, especially when you go down to the north part of India, the problems currently in northern part of India is that one is the weather condition is extremely cold at this moment, and homeless people are having a lot of problem. But there are good Smartians who are helping these kind of people. They provide with a lot of warm clothes, they provide them with food, they take care that death rate is down, because I think a couple of years back the death rate was very high for these homeless people. It was a problem which if the government didn't step in, but the community did its effort, and they created a lot of welfare organizations, and they brought in a lot of warm clothes, food, to ensure that at least during these winter months, people don't suffer. And yes, job prospects again for them is also a big issue. Like what Julie said, what is the address that you're going to give? That's again. So they invariably they'll end up doing like a daily wages, like the daily labor rates. They do some odd jobs just to ensure that their stomach is fed, and there are a lot of other organizations also which has come up from different communities, because India has got so many different religions. So there are communities who have set up social organizations where they provide them with free food, free shelter, where they can stay for the night, and their basic needs are taken care of. So yes, the challenges are more or less the same. Probably the intensity would be different. When you look at places like Bronx in New York, and situation here is no much different. It's more or less the same.
Yeah.
Yes. Very sad. I really don't know what's going on. I think most part of the country, what happens is that 14th, 15th, and 16th of January every year, this is called as an harvest festival, and it is called also it's the harvest festival, and it is also the time when the sun moves from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, and that's a very big event in most part of the country, and everybody is celebrating under different names and everything. So I think everybody has gone off to the celebratory mode, or they're down with COVID. That's one more thing that's there. So we have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's unusual to have this many students in a row. Oh, they must say that you might have something there on the festival, because more of our missing presentations have been from India than anywhere today.
Yes,
so
yes.
It could have something to do with that. But Perrin, I appreciate the conversation anyway, and enjoy listening to you particularly. Some of my some of the greatest learning I've done in the last probably 10 or 15 years is when I've been with my youngest son or my niece and just getting a perspective of somebody much younger than myself. It's always been interesting, always helps enlighten me. I feel like I'm one of these people that I want to continue to grow and be more accepting and more generous and more open to things. We're not all older people are quite like that. Some people are very set in their ways. And so I count on young people to help me keep me there and keep me reflecting back on stuff that otherwise I might have just be following the crowd on. So thank you for all of that. And thanks for your patience since none of our guests have been here for the last 45 minutes. I appreciate it. But I do think that these social issues that we're talking about can be solved. And I think they're a lot easier to solve. I don't think they're hard to solve. Let me put it that way. I just think that maybe it is the communication or lack of communication. I mean, I see hundreds and hundreds of hotel rooms, especially even during with COVID, that have space. The hotels themselves could set up space, and the efficiency kind of hotels that actually have kitchens and stuff inside them that could, what if they just had 2 rooms and that's 2 families, they get to live there. And if every hotel system did that, but it's convincing people that to give up the money in a world where I think a lot of people have learned or feel that money is the most important thing. I think it's a hard sell to them, but it's an easy solution. It's just a hard sell to some people. Maybe the same way. I mean, I think we have more complicated problems with hunger because, have you heard the term food desert?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of food deserts here. I don't know about where you live, but in the inner cities, there's no markets to go to. There is fast food, which is, obviously not good for you. But there aren't a lot of healthy markets available for good priced food. And so I think it gets a little bit more complicated with food than with housing, because there's nowhere you don't see. The only place I don't see hotels and structures that can be used like a hotel are out in the farmlands. And that's not typically where you find homeless people anyway. They're closer to the city.
Because like homeless people, I mean, there's no homeless. The reason why there's less homeless people in the farmland is because it's kind of more straightforward to get work in the country. Because number one, I don't think a normal farmer, would mind if you kind of look sweaty, because they're used to being sweaty, working hard to feed our populations. And about the thing you've asked, here in Saudi Arabia, I'm not entirely sure if there are like food deserts and then the only thing available is fast food, is because a lot of the popular foods here in Saudi Arabia, like in the US you have like Burger King and stuff like that. A lot of the popular foods is like Indian food and Arabian food, and a lot of those foods include vegetables and they come at cheap prices. So you get a little butter chicken masala and some naan bread. Tastes amazing. Personally, I don't think I'll ever be able to get over the fact that my top 1 comfort food is shawarma. Because even if I move to another country, my top 1 comfort food is always going to be shawarma, because I grew up with shawarma. And there's and shawarma is a very simple dish. Like you have this certain kind of bread, you have maybe cheese, chicken, garlic sauce, maybe you could add pickles. There's just even one restaurant that I saw, they added this certain really nice sauce, tomatoes and everything. It was really healthy. Another very nice and healthy foods, falafel. I know it's like that round ball, but the falafel we eat is like, the round ball you put in like a bread, so it kind of looks like shawarma, but completely healthy because it has all these, all the ingredients are practically from vegetables. You have tomatoes, you have maybe lettuce, you have the falafel itself, which is vegan, as I believe. It's not made of meat or anything like that. And then you have hummus, which is made of beans. So a lot of the street
not beans,
chickpea,
chickpeas.
yeah, chickpeas. So a lot of the street food here in Saudi Arabia is either very simple like fries with them with ketchup, or really a really good shawarma with vegetables and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if there's any food deserts here, because here in Saudi Arabia we definitely have really good food, especially the Indian food, which is really good food.
Yeah, and Filipinos like Indian food because it's spicy and they like spicy stuff.
It has really good savoriness. So I'm not sure about any food deserts here, but you definitely see a lot of people lining up in places like where they sell shawarma and salad places and places like those. You even see people with carts around the street selling vegetables. So concerning food deserts, I'm not sure if we have any of those. I see a lot of people with vegetables selling vegetables, but I'm not sure about any food deserts concerning nutrition.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that the US has created that problem because of the way they've structured cities and suburbs and things like that. And, to create those good for you kinds of foods, it's hard to do if you can't get to a market to buy the stuff that you need. And, you don't have land to farm when you're in the city. You can't create any of that yourself. You have to rely on some type of store to get to be able to get it. So it could be the way that we've structured our buildings and laid out our suburbs and cities. That might be a good part of it, which makes it even more complicated to fix.
Upscale fried man who's ready already, and I think none of these people from India are going to join in now. Sadly, because one is these people who are supposed to join in, they are from very small towns and villages, and they were not aware that they have even received a meal. And now when I tell the parent, oh yes, there is a meal that has come in. I have no idea about it. Okay.
So
I think let's start off with this. Yeah,
Abigail.
Abigail.
So
we would have to ask Abigail first if she was willing to go early, and then what that does is it ends up leaving a spot in the next time slot. But Abigail might be willing, so let me chat with her real quick. In the meantime, you keep talking, and I'll ask her.
So just a fun question. What's your favorite food that's not from India? Because like one of my favorite like comfort foods is like butter chicken masala with naan bread. Really good stuff. So like, do you have like a comfort food that's not Indian?
Pizza.
I love pizza too. What's your favorite flavor?
Yes, the pizza which has got an Indian flavor. Not the pizza which has got only the cheese and the kind of vegetables that would be on it. No. We want pizza with the cheese and with a lot of Indian masalas in it.
I would definitely want to eat that because like Indians really have a way with spices.
No, you should know why pizza initially when McDonald's, not McDonald's, when you had Pizza Hut when it was launched in India, they had no idea what kind of things India would like. So they just brought in what was available back in the US and they put it on the stores. People look at it. It's okay. So bland. Can't eat it. And then the nutrition team and the food team realized that India doesn't work like this. We need to change what is required. So they brought the pizza with all the different kind of flavors that we have in our food, and your butter chicken is one of those items which is part of the pizza. Now we have butter chicken slices on the pizza. We have different kinds of things that come in different flavors and everything. Now India loves pizza. And same thing went with McDonald's. McDonald's tried a lot with their burgers and everything. We have something much more better off than the cost of a burger in India is about $1. $1 is about $70 in India, equivalent to 70 Indian rupees. So we have a knockdown version which has been there for ages, and it is called as potato vada. It is the same thing. It's bun. It has got potato ball in the middle, and it's got all the chutneys and everything put in, and that's how people have been enjoying. And it's 10 rupees. 10 rupees is less than what, about not even half a cent, close to half a cent or less than that. And even the man who cannot afford full food, he has 2 of this and his stomach is full.
Okay.
It's the poor man's food, and it's the staple food of the people in a city called Bombay.
So, Abigail Friedman, Friedman or Friedman?
Friedman.
It's Friedman.
Friedman.
Okay. So, we have hello, dear audience. We are going to have our presenter, who is a mom, an occupational therapist, a master trainer and facilitator in Lego 6 bricks, an advocate for learning through play. Also, an octopus for being able to manage all those stuff. Whoa, that's just amazing. So, coming all the way from South Africa, Abigail Friedman. Tell us, Miss Friedman, how are you and your kids feeling today?